Hi everybody. I want to talk a little bit now explaining how all of this kind of goes together. I've mentioned a little bit on how each assignment builds upon each assignment and how each week builds upon the previous week as well. And that's a little bit of an intangible, okay, cool, Rowan, you're telling me that this all works together. I don't really see how kind of idea. So I want to take a couple minutes to kind of show you how we're actually doing building blocks as we work through the course to get to that big final paper. We always want to keep that big final paper sort of as the goal. We don't want to obsess about it. We don't want to be too negative about it. But that's the goal of class, is to turn in a big paper. And that's what each of our assignments is going to guide us to do. So we want to keep the goal in mind, but we don't want to obsess about it. So we approach each of these assignments as a step towards that, as a building block, as scaffolding, if you will, to get to that final paper. It's for future us to worry about getting it all together, and it's not even going to be a worry. It's going to be like a bam, we did it. And current us to kind of help support future us to find success there. So we're going to talk about how all of our assignments are designed to help us do that. Okay, so just kind of keep that big paper in mind, but let's not obsess about it. It's not a big thing for us to worry about at all. Alright, the way this class is set up is we got kind of three, perhaps obviously three third-ish sections. And third is a relatively loose designation. Like part 1 might be 3 weeks, part 2 might be 6 weeks. So third is a relative term. I'm not super great with math. First third of class is going to be brainstorming and skills development. This is where we're going to kind of explore what ideas we want to talk about and kind of explore how we're going to build that big paper. First assignment is going to be a personal analysis essay, and you might be asking yourself, hey Rowan, how does talking about myself help me support future self to get that big stupid paper done? And the way it does that is we're going to explore our strengths and weaknesses as it applied towards writing and research. So it's going to give me and you an idea of where we stand as we dive into this big project. So you're going to tell me what you're super great at and maybe what we're not super great at in terms of writing and research. So that helps me kind of design how we move forward from this point in terms of supplemental materials, what we talk about during class activities, all that good stuff. So it puts us all in kind of a level playing field to move forward. The next thing that we talk about is our doc-style research and doc-style template. We've talked a lot with our syllabus and our various videos and all that kind of stuff about this doc-style manual, how we're going to have to format our paper, and we will talk a lot more about it as we move forward. But the doc-style research is going to give us the skills and the information that we need to actually build our paper. How we have to have a cover page, if we have to have a cover page, are we going to be using parenthetical citations, or are we going to be doing footnotes? How are we actually going to be composing our sentences and our paragraphs? So before we actually start writing our paper, we're going to have a template on how it's going to look, and we're going to have information on how we're going to write it. So before we even start, we're all set with our plan of action. Then we have a topic proposal A and topic proposal B, and they're exactly what they sound like. They're where we say, hey, this is what I'm interested in writing about. Cool. Topic proposal A is going to be a little bit vague. It's going to be like, hey, I'm a film major. I love Firefly. That's what I want to write about. Topic proposal B is going to narrow that down a little bit to give us, if I could speak, give us some kind of direction for our next part. So, hey, I'm a film major, I'm super obsessed with Firefly, I want to know why Fox canceled it and what problems Fox got from canceling such an amazing show. Okay? That's going to give us a direction as we move into part 2, which, I'm a huge dork, is one of my favorite parts of class. Research and analysis. Yay, I know you're super excited about it. In part 2, we take the information from what we did in part 1 and actually start applying it to gathering resources to support our opinions and background information and, our stance with our big paper. The annotated bibliography will be guided by the doc-style research because it's going to help us format our citations, both in text and in our reference or works cited page. And our topic proposals are going to tell us what direction we need to guide our research in, because I want to know what problem Fox is having now that they canceled such a great show. I know where I want to start finding information to support that perspective. Okay, and the research proposal kind of ties those two concepts together. Here's all of my research, all super formatted. I don't have to worry about citations as we start writing. And here is my thesis based off all the research that I did. So that's how part 2 kind of works and builds off of part 1. And then we get to my super A, great 100% favorite part of class, the actual composition, the actual writing. I know you guys are super excited about writing this, and even if you're not, that's okay. We'll get you there, we'll find success. The composition part is based off the research, and it's going to be written in the way that we determined in part 1 with our doc-style research. Okay, so we can kind of see how all of our steps build together. And with the actual composition, we're going to do it in pieces. We're going to have skeleton outline, which is just going to be a bare bones outline, ideas, information, maybe the order on how we're going to be writing our paper, the main key points, the supportive points, you know how outlines work. And all of that information, that outline, is going to be based off of our research proposal and the research that we've done. Now, after our skeleton outline, we're going to do what we call a zombie outline. And what that is, it's going to be, here's my fan, a paragraph under each one of our key main points and subpoints. And you're going to end up with approximately 7 pages of paragraphs. Give or take a page or two. There's no page length requirement for the zombie outline, but that's kind of the goal, the average of where we end up. So well before that paper is due, we're going to have 7 pages of content written already. How awesome is that? Super awesome. On that point, before we move forward, I always get a little bit of conflict from some students, not all students, that outlines suck, I don't use them. And that's fine. Maybe you will never use an outline again. But when you're writing 20 pages, outlines are invaluable scaffolding to keep you on track. A common concern with a paper of this size is I feel like I'm rambling. I feel like I'm being repetitive. And an outline is how we prevent that from happening. It's how we get from point A to amazing point B. So we will be required to do 2 outlines. And those outlines will serve as the scaffolding for that big paper. So after the zombie outline, after we have 7 pages already written, we are going to write our half draft, which is exactly what it sounds like. 9 pages of clean composition. So you'll take your zombie outline, you'll clean it up a little bit, and you'll expand some sections to have 9 pages, half of your paper written a full 4 weeks before that final paper is due. Okay, so we can kind of see how these build upon each other, literally, to get towards that big, scary paper. After the half draft, we will do the rough draft, and this is where we just push out the rest of those 9 pages. We get those 18 pages. Just kind of put it out. It's a rough draft. Doesn't have to be perfect. We don't want it to be perfect. It's a rough draft. And we will have 18, hopefully 18 pages done, formatted. Got 2 weeks to do it. You'll hammer it out. It'll be amazing. And then after that rough draft, we'll have 2 full weeks to, maybe we didn't hit 18 pages, maybe we only hit 16 pages. 2 full weeks to kind of polish it up, finish adding content if we have to, make sure all those citations are correct, do all those final editings, and it'll be wonderful and amazing. So you see how each of our assignments actually do build upon the rest. There's no real unnecessary assignment in this class. As a student, that always frustrated me. Why are you making me do an article analysis on Hemingway when I'm writing my paper on this, right? So all of our assignments actually do build upon each other, and we do have a clear plan of action. And I know it's easy for me to say, and maybe hard for you to believe, that those 18 pages are nothing for you to worry about. We'll get there. It's going to be an amazing semester. You are going to do wonderful, and we're going to keep open lines of communication and dialogue so we can support your success as you work through all of these assignments. And remember, as always, if you have any questions at all while we're doing this, ask, post to the general discussion forum, email me, whatever we need to do to help you feel supported and successful. And remember, you totally got this. You're going to do great.